Hello, so today we have reached our PE portion of the day. So today we're going to be doing what we call skip, jump, and count. So for this, it's going to be a little mix of math and movement. So we can learn our math subjects while also getting our movement in for the day and getting some new tips and tricks and being able to integrate the two lessons, which is always amazing when we can kind of find that blend of our two subjects, especially when one of them is movement, because I know we need a good stretch today and a good movement. So today we're going to go dive a little bit deeper into even and odd numbers and counting by twos, and also using math movement to integrate and really drill those ideas into our head. With that being said, by the end of the lesson, we will all be able to use physical movement to practice skip counting by twos, which, just as a reminder, we go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, 12, 14, 16. And you will be able to practice skip counting by twos and also determine if numbers are even or odd. Again, this is going to be done by movement, so we'll have super fun and have that integrated subject learning. The best part about this is that we'll be engaging in a cooperative learning activity that combines both math and understanding of physical movement, so it'll be so fun. So for this lesson, we're going to be using our number cards 1 through 100 that we'll be placing on the floor very shortly. I also have a number generator 1 through 100 on my laptop, so we'll be using that to call out our numbers. I'm also going to be playing some music in the background so that we can have a lot of fun doing this activity. And yeah, let's get started. At this point, we're going to gather around in our open space and start with a few introduction questions just to get us in the mood for our activity. So, can anybody tell me what an even number is? Correct. 2 is a great example of an even number. For 2, if we have 2 pieces of paper, we can evenly split them. So if you have 2 friends, both friends can get 1 piece of paper. Now, can anybody tell me what an odd number is? Right, so an odd number would be the opposite. So if we have 1 is a perfect example of an odd number. Or 3. So if we have 2 friends and 3 papers, one would have 2 and one would have 1. This is odd. So again, 2 and 4, these are examples of even numbers. These go up to even bigger numbers. So 6 is an even number as well, as is number 8. These can all be split evenly among our friends. However, 7 and 9, as well as 5, these are odd, and they wouldn't be able to be split evenly among our friends. So now that we have a good understanding and a good refresher of what even and odd numbers are, we're going to be using our bodies to help us understand a little bit more about even and odd numbers. Now that we've done that, we're going to warm up and start to think a little bit more about our counting by twos, which is something that we'll also need to do for this activity. So we're going to start with a little warm-up activity just to get us in the rhythm of our movement exercises today. So what we're going to do first is jog in place and skip count by twos up to 20. And once you get to 20, we're going to start over. So we're going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Take a breath if you need to. We'll regroup, and then we're going to start again. You can always take a break if you need to. Listen to your bodies, but we're going to do this about 4 times. If you don't remember how to count by twos, it's okay. We're all going to do it together, so let's get started. 2, 10, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. We can take a break, stretch if we need to. Just remember to think about your counting as you are jogging in place and to remember what we're doing this for. But let's start again. 3, 2, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And let's keep going. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Good job. Let's take a quick breather. Everyone can take a sip of their water if they need to. Okay, now let's regroup and do it one more time. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Perfect. So now we have a good refresher of what counting by twos means and skip counting by twos as well. And we've gotten a little warm up for our physical activity. So now we're going to do a little bit of stretching. We've warmed up our bodies through that warm up exercise, but it's time that we stretch. So if everybody can gather in a circle, we're just going to do a quick stretch. You want to reach to your left and count, skip count by twos again to 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and now we'll go to our right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. We'll go back to our center. So now we're going to set up our game, and then we'll go into a little bit more about how to actually play. So to set up our game, we're going to take our number cards and place them on the floor so that we can be ready to skip, jump, and count to them. So these don't have to be exactly in order. We're just going to place them on the floor with enough space between them. And we can't forget to turn on our music. So now that we have our music, we'll be more in the mood to get to our movement. So I'm just going to finish cutting out the rest of these number cards and we'll get started. The rest of the class setting up for it as well. But I'll have the rest of the class set the game up. We'll be right back when it's ready. So now that the picture cards or the number cards have been placed, we can get started with the actual activity, which is the most fun part. So as you can see, we have our number cards out on the floor. So as far as the rules of this game, if the number is even, the students will give 2 high fives to a partner. So at this point, go and find your partner. I'll give you guys a little bit of time to find your partners. Okay, perfect. Now that everybody is partnered up, if the number is even, when I call it out, your students, you will give each other 2 high fives to a partner, just like this. But if this number is odd, students will jump in one place. So this is how we'll know if we can identify even or odd numbers. So if I call out number 6, for example, if I call out number 6, I would go to the number 6 tile, high five my friend 2 times, and we would wait here for the next number. Now we have a variety of number 6s as well, so find your partner. Now, however, if I were to call out number 13, I would find number 13 and hop in one place. Now that you guys understand the game, we're gonna get started. And please, if you guys have any questions, please make sure to ask always. And I can show you guys a few examples as well. So we're going to turn our music back on and have our number picker, our number wheel, pick a number. Okay, let's spin our wheel. So our first number is going to be number 7. Okay, so I would need my partner would walk over to number 7, which is right here. And since it's an odd number, we would hop once and wait for our next number. Now I would spin the wheel again, and we would wait for our number at the number 7. And the teacher would announce that our new number is number 15, which is right here. So we will run over to number 15. These would be more spaced out. But we'd run over to number 15, which again is an odd number, and hop once. For added difficulty, we could hop on one foot, but the important thing is that we're hopping once. Now, we would spin the wheel one more time, just for the sake of our examples. And our wheel is going to be number 10. So I would find number 10 and high five my partner twice with 2 hands. Now that we have the basis of our game and plenty of examples, we're going to get started. So now that we know how the game works in its entirety, I'm going to begin by calling out a few numbers. The first number that our real generator is going to do is number 16. So grab your partner and head on over to number 16. Now give your partner either a hop, or you and your partner either give a hop or a clap. 3, 2, 1. So if you and your partner did 2 high fives, you are correct. Now look to your partner and let me call on one group to see why that number 16 did 2 high fives. Can you guys explain why you guys did 2 high fives instead of a hop? Correct. So as we know, number 16 is an even number. So yeah, we know 16 is an even number because if we were to pair each one of the 16 lines up, we would end up with an even number and nothing left out. I can show you guys. So if we were to have 16 lines, just like on this paper, we could evenly group 2s and have none left out. I can show you. So as you can see, when number 16 is grouped into 2s, there's nothing left out, meaning that it is an even number. So we're going to move on to our next number. So next number is going to be number 11. So you and your partner head over to number 11. Okay, now on the count of 3, we're either going to do a hop or 2 claps for number 11. 3, 2, 1. So if you and your partner hopped in place once, you are correct. Number 11 is an odd number. So if we were to do the same activity with number 11, there would be 1 left out, meaning that it is not an even number. So if you guys guessed that correctly and knew that number 11 was an odd number, give yourself a pat on the back. But if you did do 2 high fives, that is nothing to worry about because we have more chances to get it right. So we are now going to spin our wheel and see what number it gives us. Our next number is going to be number 17. So you and your partner go onto the number 17 tile, and we're going to see in a few seconds if it is even or odd. So now that everybody is on our number 17 number tile, on the count of 3, we're either going to do 2 claps or 1 hop. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so if you guys did one hop, you are correct. Number 17 is an odd number. Does anyone want to tell me why number 17 is an odd number? Correct. So number 17 is an odd number because if we were to group them all and pair up the number 17, there would be some left out, meaning that it is not even. Okay, so now that we seem to be getting the hang of this, we're going to start moving up to more difficult numbers. So while we were staying in the 1 to 20, we're going to move on to 1 to 50s, which I know you guys will do great at. Okay, so our first number, according to our wheel spinner, is going to be 45. So everyone move to our 45 number tile. Okay, can anybody tell me if the even or odd number 45 in 3, 2, 1, either clap your hands at your partner or hop in place. 3, 2, 1. If you and your partner jumped one time, you are correct. 45 is an odd number. So now we're going to move on to our next one. So we're going to have our wheel picker, which you can all see on our board. So our next number is going to be number 47. Okay, 47, move on to that 47 tile with your partner. And you are either going to clap or hop in 3, 2, 1. Good job. So if you and your partner hopped, congratulations, you're correct. 47 is an odd number. Since you guys have been doing so amazing at guessing even and odd numbers, we're going to start incorporating something that we did during our warm-up. So if you feel comfortable with even and odd numbers, while you're moving around to your next number that we call out, start by counting by twos. I can show you what I mean. So I have this tile, and they call out number 57. Well, me and my partner are walking there, we will go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And proceed the game as well. So everything we're adding here is just counting by twos while we're moving to a new tile. Other than that, when we get to a new tile, we're still either going to hop or hop, depending on what you prefer, or high five if it's an even number. So let's start by adding in that new element of counting by twos. So we're going to go for rounds of that, adding in our counting by twos, skip counting by twos, and also just continuing to do that higher level for our numbers. So the next number that we're going to identify is going to be 51. Is 51 even or odd? First, let's find 51, the number tile with our partners. So now that everyone has found our 51 number tile, let's go ahead and either clap or hop. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so if you guys hopped in place, you are correct. 51 is an odd number. So we are now on to our final number. So let's see what our final number would be. Remember, we're counting by twos as we move to this final number, which is going to be 64. So go on with your partner. Skip count by twos as we go towards 64. Perfect. So now for the final time of the day, we're either clapping with our hands, high-fiving our partner twice, or we are hopping in place. Now, for the final time of the day, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, again. So, if you high-fived your partner twice, congratulations, you are correct. 64 is an even number. So with that, we're going to join back in our circle, take a break, sit down, and talk about what we learned today. Okay, now that everyone is seated, I know we had a lot of movement today, but it's okay. We can rest now and just talk about everything that we learned today. So, does anyone want to tell me what an even or an odd number is? Just based off what we've talked about and learned today, and all the activity and practice that we did. Correct. So I know we mentioned this a lot and we used our little diagram here on our board, but if a number can be grouped by twos, and with none left out, it is an even number. Now if we had one extra here, not in a group, that's our odd number. Thank you so much for that answer. So just as a reminder, a few examples of an odd number would be 17, 95, 33, and yeah. And a few examples of our even numbers would be 32, 16, and 24. So the reason we were counting by twos earlier, any number that you say when you're counting by twos, whether it's 2, 4, 16, 24, 56, these are even numbers. That was a little trick to help you guys remember our even numbers. But yeah, so now I'm going to ask you guys, I know you guys have had a lot of practice with identifying even and odd numbers, but I do have a few more questions for you. So if you know the answer, raise your hand. 100, we're starting off with a big number. Raise your hand if you think it's even. Okay, 100 is even, you are correct. Next, we're gonna go with 37. Raise your hand if you think number 37 is even. If you have your hand down, you are correct. 37 is an odd number. Now we're gonna do number 96. Remember, can you count by twos up to 96? Raise your hand if you think 96 is an even number. Correct, number 96 is an even number. Now our final one of the day is number 17, even or odd. Once again, raise your hand if you think number 17 is an even number. If your hand is still down, congratulations, you got our final question of the day correct. Number 17 is odd. So now, we're gonna go with your pairs. You should still be sitting next to them. And grab the flash cards and number cards that you see around you and ask each other if they think number 95, for example, is even or odd. And you guys can go ahead and quiz each other just to make sure that you guys really know the difference. So everybody go with your original partners and grab about 6 cards each that you have around you. Okay, now that we've done that and you guys have quizzed each other on your even and odd numbers, I know we have discussed at length why we know what the difference between even and odd, but I just want to say thank you guys for being so good and so amazing at this activity. You guys did so good and have such a clear understanding of the difference between our even numbers, like 96, and our odd numbers, like 33. And it's so amazing at all of our physical activity, running between all of our number cards, counting by twos, skipping, hopping, and jumping in place. And also running as well, and being able to do everything at once. So congratulations, you guys have completed our lesson for the day.